brother flipped that Chevelle at Atlanta. A lot of folks who were there say it's the worst accident they ever saw.
He jumped down the inside. It's put him up into third place. A while ago, we saw Jarrett and Earnhardt were capable of pull away a little bit. They're trying to bring it in.
Trouble behind. Rusty Wallace is turning over.
Rusty Wallace, 20 feet in the air, spinning, crashing.
Well, I'll tell you, when they're running that close together and jockeying around position, you just know that things like this are going to happen. And a very unfortunate situation for Rusty Wallace.
Racing back to the line.
The flag as Dale Jarrett moves around the
thing. There's Jarrett. He gets in the line. The 66 car right behind Walter. Looked like they tapped. They touched right there, the 66. And then Rusty, he gets clipped right there, turns sideways, and we know what happened after that. The air gets out of the car. Yeah, it looked like the 66 and the 30. Look at Rusty's car, how high in the air. Real violent flips right here. Boy.
Well, similar to Darrell Waltrip here in the 400-miler in July a couple of years ago. There it is again.
Another angle. Looks like Derek Cope was involved.
Yeah, he clipped the 30 car of Michael Waltrip. They got together.
And as you watch that, it reminds me a bit of the late Connie Saylor, who passed away just a week ago. Remember when he sailed down the backstretch, Ned? What a great racer he was. And died of cancer this past week, but he had an incident similar, except he went the whole back.
Own race car. So what did he do? He implemented a specialized team, completely dedicated to restrictor plate racing. Less than a dozen people. Oh, and we've got trouble on the track, and it's Kyle Busch upside down.
Big time crash. Kyle Busch goes upside down and rolls down across on his roof here on lap 26. Cars comes back over, and now side over side barrel rolls and comes to rest on its wheels. A horrific crash here at Talladega on lap 26 involving Kyle Busch, and thankfully the window net is down here. Now Kyle Busch, left side of your screen in the 5 car.
He moved to the outside to go around Casey Mears. It looked like Tony was going to go out there to help him, and it could have possibly been a little bit of contact. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be, because you can get yourself out there, and all of a sudden the air's changing, and just a horrific wreck. But once again, Kyle Busch gets out and walks away.
205 in him. Look at McMurray. He has a big run down.
Oh, we got one spinning.
And it's McMurray.
Got it.
Man, that thing is flipping, rolling. That car is junk.
You got that right.
Well, just hope he's a ride right there. He had been incredibly fast. He got a huge runoff turn 2, caught a pack of cars, made a quick move, and ended up in the fence.
Mike, it really wouldn't surprise me to see some kind of maybe adjustment on the speeds here, because the cars are really, really fast.
Pretty good run. No, he maybe cut a tire.
Something happened to that car. It just went around all by itself on the straightaway.
And see, what really slid that car over was when Newman hit him on the left side. It lifted the right side up and caught air.
Yeah.
And look at that car come apart against the fence.
It just disintegrates.
I mean, everything did its job of what it's designed to do. The fence kept the car on the racetrack. Car stayed intact.
Watch this car now. It's gonna turn all by itself right there.
Oh, the left rear. The left rear tire.
Yeah. Right over the top of Newman's car.
Yeah. Newman and Ty Dillon both with a good bit of damage.
And Mike, the 2 fastest cars, the 1 and the 13, were both involved in that accident.
That's right.
Mike Wallace on the inside, the FTP Brake Chevrolet back up front. Mark Martin has picked up where he left off before. 1 car spinning, the car number 41.
Johnny Benson, as a car takes a roll as it slid backwards, apparently the air just picked the back end of it up and around and rolling over. Here they come back to the start finish.
Here again is what happened.
But it looks like he might have been tagged by a car, Jared. There was a pack of cars running together, and then it gets backwards, and you see the spoiler sticking up there. The air gets under it and lifts the back end up, and then it just starts rolling over in the grassed area on the backstretch here at the Michigan International Speedway. Fortunately, it does not get over into that guardrail, but that's a pretty serious-looking crash, but it lands on its wheels.
Different angle again for that scary crash here in the early laps, looking across the racetrack. You see the rear of the car starting to get off the ground. You'll get a sense of actually how high this car will lift here as it came off the ground and begins to tumble. Higher than some of the scaffolds there where our cameras are located.
Well, Jerry, the speeds have increased so much here at the Michigan International Speedway in the last couple of years.
To the inside and take that spot away and take the lead away from Newman, but Newman will have nothing of it.
Oh, got trouble getting into 3, guys. Joey Logano. Big crash. Oh, he's all tagged down.
Over and over, Logano goes between 3 and 4. Our car will come back to rest on all 4 tires. Heavy, heavy crash here on lap 32.
Really just kind of a stack-up effect. Like was one of them got on the brakes and it's kind of forced. Yeah, look at Tony Stewart just missing this crash. Man, here's where it really gets exciting. Man, we talked about that there's nowhere to go as you come off of these corners, and when something like this happens, you make a commitment, and you've got one opportunity really to miss this wreck. Tony Stewart did a great job. Some others got caught up in it. Let's drive along with Tony Stewart here. See it develop right in front of him. He actually got into the back of the 20 as he checked up. You know it's going to be bad right here when he comes up in front of traffic. Reed Sorensen makes the impact. Scott Speed got a piece of it also.
The car's actually going backwards when it starts to lift up and go over and begin to tumble.
Yeah, it's just being pushed, and it's kind of dug in a little bit, and it was continued to get pushed there. That's what got it up and rolling. You hear what you talk about how high the banks are here, and you see he just tumbling down that bank. There's so much height difference right there from the top of the bank down to the apron.
3 stories, the difference between the top and...
Slides up in front of traffic.
Cars upside down, cars everywhere.
And turn 4 is Calamity Corner once again. The field is frozen. Jeff Gordon came across with Stewart and Johnson side by side, but there are half a dozen cars littered between turn 3 and the start-finish line.
All right.
Last year's third-place finisher, Scott Wimmer, unfolded between turns 3 and 4.
Because something happened to Greg Biffle, the 16 car that triggered all this.
I believe, watch it and see if it's Harvick's car. Oh, no, it's the 22 car.
Scott Wimmer.
Look at him just spinning around. He got up on his nose and come back down on his wheels. Boy, that 04 turn, she's mean, boys.
Watch the 22 of Scott Wimmer, the yellow car, take a wild ride here.
What started at Greg Biffle came down in the 10, or the 10 went up to Greg Biffle. They got together anyhow.
The luckiest man there was Rusty Wallace. Got a little tap, but kept on going.
Now watch Wimmer. Over once, twice, 3 on his nose, 4, wham.
Huge.
All right, it is a magnificent chess game that is being played here. Oh, trouble. Ricky Rudd slamming toward the wall. Crashing, rolling over, side over side. Ricky Rudd, Ford automobile, out of control. Side over side several times.
On the inside, he might have touched him, but sometimes, because of the compression of the air, here you see Rudd's car turning back the wrong way as it slid. The air got under it, flipped it back the wrong way. I think that it was a blessing that it didn't get into that wall, Ken. It started spinning away from him, just like a bucking horse, going in every kind of a direction. And, of course, Ricky holding on.
Ricky Rudd, former Grand National Rookie of the Year.
You have to guess which one. That's why he's doing what he's doing. It's just
Over once and a half and on his roof. Caution is out. A terrible crash.
You okay, man? Can you hear us?
Garage this weekend. It does not have a bearing on this race because NASCAR controls the shocks here, but we expect to see a new rule before we race.
trouble! Multi-car
let's see. There we see the 41 car. Looks like he's going to get bumped from behind by the 12.
Ryan Newman in the 12. Rigs hard into the wall. And it gets worse. Yes.
They made contact. Dumoulin gets another bump from Cameron in the 88. They make more contact on the turn 6 and Cooper goes around and up and over.
Oh my goodness, Xavier Krupal, 4 or 5 barrel rolls. Have you ever seen one of these cars come apart?
I have never seen a roll that violent. And you take a look at it, Cameron making contact with Dumoulin. There it is. That's where the 72 gets airborne, and watch this.
3, 4 rolls. As we watch, it was Cameron on the inside, Kupal in the middle, and I believe Hathaway was on the outside.
And just wow. Not one single body panel left on that car. And this is the part the most concerning.
Number 47, then Earnhardt, then Baker. But Lake Speed and Darrell Waltrip, though they are not running with the leader, continue to keep pace with the leader. Where's the problem? In the first turn, a car slams the wall, but the end over end. A terrific accident here. More cars spinning, more colliding with the wall. One car completely airborne and fire on one of the machines.
Whether the team could switch points.
Whoa, guys. Whoa. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. I have never seen anything like that in my life.
He hit that wall a ton.
Oh, my gosh.
Michael's moving around in the car.
I think you're going to see him get loose the minute he turns down into the corner.
Yeah, and he's just, man. And that thing just absolutely.
I will guarantee you that impact was well over 180, probably 185 miles per hour. We've already seen 199 or better getting in there going straight.
That's a part of the racetrack.
Gosh. I can't even hardly watch that.
It's a part of the racetrack, but Murray said was a little slick getting in. Not knowing if Michael changed his line a little bit, got a little too much into that speedy dry.
Now, is he going to win the Winston 500? Jimmy Spencer is second. They come through the tri-oval. Checkered is waving. Ernie Evans wins, and Rusty spins and gets airborne. And flips wildly right at the start-finish line. Very reminiscent of his accident at Daytona.
He's down on the inside, trying to draft Rusty and go right out of the picture, and it looks, there he is. Earnhardt right up on the back bumper of Rusty, and he does touch him.
That's
and
why
around he goes. That's one reason that Dale Earnhardt went down there.
That's why he was so concerned, because he touched Rusty Wallace to start this situation, it looks like.
And the car overturns about 6 or 7 times, pirouetting on its nose, end over end, side over side, comes to a rest on its wheels between the start-finish line and turn.
Look at that. Jeff's going to move him up out of the groove and get by him.
Whoa, Busch is around. Can he save it this time?
Oh, there you go.
He does. He saves it. But there's a
Jeff Gordon's upside down. Jeff Gordon's upside down.
And Busch's car is destroyed.
Oh, my gosh.
He's in that backup car.
You see Jeff down there, he just gets down on his left corner, and we've seen that time and time and time again.
You got to stay off the left side. What do we do about that, though, man? How do we fix it? The drivers just have to make the decision that they've got to lay off that left side.
Look at this long slide for Gordon, and that's Kurt Busch tangled up with him and Jimmy Johnson, and that car still hasn't lost much of its momentum as it goes side over side and comes to rest.
Michael
on
made
its roof.
A really good point, though, Mike. These cars are so much bigger than the cars were 5 years ago with the safety in.
The yellow is out again.
into the guardrail, side over side, end over end, and Davey Allison has experienced a horrifying crash. Turn 2.
See some contact between Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison, and the car just flew through the air. Well, he got on the air, in the air very quickly. It goes over the top of the guardrail.
Yep.
Flipped right over the top of the guardrail.
So far anyway, but you still got to get through 2 or 3 on the first lap. Ricky Rudd gets the jump. He's the early leader. Oh, trouble! Steve Park is off into the infield. Another car ball over on his lid. It's Parkindale Jr. Terrible crash. Johnson car, and there's Rusty Wallace. You see Park trying to squeeze up the outside.
I see he was trying to go on the outside of Rusty. Rusty moves up, they make contact, and Junior gets under the one car and just kind of bulldozed him into the wall and over.
Yeah, that's what actually turned him even more sideways. But I'll tell you what, that guardrail did the job.
Oh, it did. It's great.
It took a lot of, that absorbed a lot of impact right there.
Watch the yellow car back there just turn left.
And when you hit wet grass, it feels like you pick up 200 mile an hour. But you can see how that barrier gave way. Absolutely. That barrier absorbed a lot of energy, and I'll tell you what, that nice to see happen, because if that were a concrete wall, he would have taken a much
sandwiched again back there this time as they go back to turn 1. And Martin's into the wall now. Trouble in turn number 1. Mark spins out of control. The whole pack is involved. Cars tumbling through the air. Over and on, all twisting around and hit again as it comes back to the bottom of the racetrack in the corner. A savage crash in turn 1. Several cars involved. Mark Martin's car sliding back down the racetrack now, being hit by several others. And we have a pile of cars sitting at the bottom of the banking in turn 1.
Ricky Craven, one of the cars that went up in the air. A lot of damage to that. Ernie Irvin was involved. We got Jeff Purvis down here. Ernie Irvin still sitting down there. A few others out of our line of sight here between turns 1 and 2.
There will be at least 10 cars that had damage in that spectacular accident that just happened down in turn number 1. Mark Martin kind of got it triggered going there and bounced into that outside wall, then went right down through the middle of the field, slammed into Ricky Craven's automobile, and he went flying up the banking and collected another group of cars, including Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin involved in it, again, Jeff Purvis involved in it. Looked like Rusty Wallace got a piece of it, Mike Wallace, Elton Sawyer, Ricky Rudd's car badly damaged, Jeff Bodine involved in it, and also Derek Cope.
Marty, by far the most seriously damaged.
Away, here they come. Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece. Logano on the outside.
Oh,
and Byron's around. He crashes. Caution is out.
Heavy impacted inside wall by the 42 Larson.
Kyle Larson, Jeffrey Earnhardt with heavy damage. To go to victory lane this year. What a hard tumble for Kyle Larson.
And that was after a really hard hit with that front nose to the inside wall.
It just won't stop.
This is coming off of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Oh, yeah, you can just see, it looks like the 38 goes up the racetrack, makes contact with the 24 Byron. And that sends Jeffrey Earnhardt and Kyle Larson. Look at the air get under the right rear of the 42.
Wow.
Heavy contact with that right front. Left front.
That safer barrier was there. Thank goodness for that. But watch this thing. Once it starts flipping, it's like a feather. It just won't stop.
Why is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on ESPN2 at this hour? This race was supposed to be over at 1:30. Well, a 10-truck pileup on the tri-oval in which Jeffrey Bodine was injured with a fractured right cheekbone and a fractured right wrist, right elbow, big toe, and possible ankle fractures. And this is how it all happened, Benny Parsons.
About the 6th or 7th place car. There's Jeffrey Bodine, bam, in the outside retaining wall, and watch as he tumbles down the straightaway. Now, again, right, another truck is going to come along and hit him. Here, watch and listen.
Jeffrey Bodine's on board. Listen. One more angle. Then the Namath, the green car goes down. He and Kurt Busch go up and they touch the 46 of Rob Morgan and outside retaining ball goes Jeffrey Bodine.
The truck comes totally apart. You'll see the motor flying off there on the left upper portion of your screen. It ended up about 300 feet further down the track. One more view. Look how high he got.
I've been around this sport since 1960, and I've never seen a crash that a...
Dale Earnhardt grew up in the town of Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Bad trouble.
Okay, a terrible crash. Richard Petty's car is turned over 7 or 8 times coming off turn 4 and was just struck by another car. It's one of the most violent accidents we've ever seen at the Daytona International Speedway here as leader Darrell Waltrip squeezes through.
Richard Petty was running in a pack of cars, and the back end starts to go around, and looks like it might have been tagged by the car number 73 of Phil Barkdahl, and you can see Petty's car just cramming and turning over up against the wall, and other cars coming in. There's Barkdahl hitting him as he came by, and the Eddie Beerswall car hitting one of the tires that came off the car.
From another angle. That looks like the crash at Darlington years ago, Ned.
Fortunately, it was staying on the nose of the car for so long, Ken, so it didn't look like it was really taking hard bounces down onto the pavement.
And it dispels some of the energy. You must remind the viewers that these cars are built to take these kind of crashes. And there's Phil Barkdahl hitting the cement wall right in front of us.
The white flag is out. They're going to crash. With a big run. They're crashing. Christopher Bell upside down. Coming to the checkered flag, but the yellow taken in the 4 truck on the outside, second in line. Peters gets bumped.
Looks like William Byron got jumped by the 86. Look at Timothy Peters on the inside as Christopher Bell tumbles down the front straightaway. Timothy all the way to the inside of the racetrack is, a lot of new pavement down there, guys, and that makes such a huge difference. They don't get any grass. A lot of huge pavement scrubs off a lot of that speed.
I count 13 rolls for Christopher Bell. Watch it.
Well, Daniel Hemrick almost went underneath that 4 truck of Christopher Bell.
It's a testament to the safety of these racing vehicles that Christopher Bell can take that kind of ride and then drop the window net and climb out.
Very fortunate that these trucks are as safe as they are. Look at this truck just get out of control. Probably about the fastest part of this speedway, Phil, right out of the tri-oval.
It just starts tumbling.
That young man with his dirt racing background, I'm sure he's had many barrel rolls in his career, but none like that.
And Michael, I know you've been upside down. I've been upside down like that. The flipping's not that bad, but...
Los stock cars con una arrancada muy polémica con este accidente pues muy a pantalla, ¿no? Es muy peligroso, pero no le pasó nada a Germán Quiroga, pues afortunadamente este piloto salió ileso de este percance. ¿Qué dirías?
Not Junior, back to the middle. Pass on Josh Berry. Hey, wait a minute. If you're racing here, you should just go by Junior, and there's trouble again. 3 to go on the stage.
My goodness.
And a major hit for Dexter Stacy. Wayne Perkins with huge damage. He hit the end of the wall, Joey.
Great when he kicks out like that.
Oh, my.
Debris everywhere. And the tire bounding out of control into the wall.
So we're going to see a spin from the middle, the 66. He's going to come down and hit the inside wall very, very hard.
And this is where the wall kicks out right there. And that shot doesn't do justice. And look at this car. Barrel rolling down the backstretch.
And that wasn't the half of it. By the way, Dexter Stacy has also climbed from his race car.
So this is Blaine Perkins. You see he's going to get hit. The car's going to catch the air, land right here on the roof, and here comes the barrel roll.
Right when you get sideways like that, it starts to bite, and then off it goes. And at this point, you hope when it's up in the air that it doesn't land on the roof.
Look at the parts and pieces just coming off that race car as it barrel rolls down the back straightaway.
It's that 6-7 times that I think I saw that car go around.
Yeah, some big hits within the rolls, right? The revolutions at that speed usually isn't bad.